This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show.
Hey, what up? Happy Thursday. Jason Walker Show, hanging out in the Above All Handyman Services Man Cave. Make sure you get a hold of Above All Handyman Services in Helena and Colorado Springs for everything you need done remodel-wise, fixing-wise, whatever it is around the house. They will get it done. Tile work is phenomenal. New bathroom they put in our home last summer, and it's absolutely fantastic. And they did a great job, the crew at Above All Handyman Services. Coming up today, Sheriff Leo Dutton is going to talk to us about just being smart, being safe this weekend as we head into the summer season as well. So you're going to want to stick around and hear from the great sheriff of Lewis and Clark County. And we've got some updates from state softball as games in action today. State track and tennis get underway tomorrow. It's time. It's that time of the year where we wrap up the high school sports seasons, which is crazy. It seems like just yesterday that football got started, and volleyball, and soccer, and AA golf, and everything else. But yeah. Let's see here. Some quick updates. The Helena Senators just keep rolling. They've won 13 consecutive games now after they beat Missoula last night at Kendrick. And it's, 9 wins and 1 loss against the Mavs this year. 5-2 win last night. Scored 5 runs in the first. Struggled a little bit, but kept the winning streak alive. Also wrapped up the non-conference portion of the season, and the Senators will now start conference play. So, 13 straight wins. It's pretty impressive for the boys of Kendrick, as we like to call them. So, let's see. Butte Central gets an upset today. Laurel in softball comes back to win. Great Falls beat Helena High 8-6, scoring 3 runs in the top of the 7th to knock off the Bengals, who now fall into the dreaded losers bracket. Florence leading big, and great updates. 406mtsports.com has them all. Skyview and Senior scoreless through 3. Skyview won earlier today. Sentinels taking on CMR. CMR beat Glacier 9-2 to advance. Florence Carlton defeats Cutbank 13-1. Looking for, a 13th state title since 1999. Is that Big Timber and Manhattan all tied up at 3. Heading, I think they're in the 9th inning now. Let's see. Lewistown, Butte Central, Laurel, and Corvallis all won games at the State A softball tournament in Havre. Locomotives came back from 5-0 to defeat Glendive 9-5. They get Frenchtown next. What else is going on? State AA. Of course, you've got State AA and A track meets actually, and B and C kick off with pole vault tonight on the girls' side. The AA's taught Mark Libby Hansen from Capital so far, 12-3. And the best so far in Class A girls pole vault, Columbia Falls, Hannah Simpf at 11 flat. So we mentioned Lewistown winning. They beat Livingston. That's in Lewistown. And now Lewistown will take on Columbia Falls. Capital's going to get Belgrade because Belgrade beat Butte today. And the loser of that game will play Butte tomorrow. Or Belgrade rather beat Big Sky, 7-5. So there's that score. We mentioned Butte Central with the upset after knocking off Polson 4-3 in 8 innings. Big upset there. And I think that's about it for now as far as softball. But man, oh man, it's on. It is definitely on. The softball is going strong across the state. We mentioned the AA is in Missoula, A is in Hamilton, and BC is in Lewistown. So there's that update. We'll keep you posted on other scores as they come in, for sure. And Pioneer League opened up last night. Voyagers of Great Falls with a big win, I believe, over Ogden or Orem. And then Missoula beat Billings to get started. Colby Wilson of Montana State advances to the NCAA track and field finals in Eugene, Oregon. Drake Schneider of MSU advances at the prelims and will now run today for a chance to go to the finals. All that down in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Excuse me. The women get started today. That includes former Capital and MSU standout Elena Carter, who is amazing. And so there's that. You also have the decathlon and the NAI continuing down in Alabama. And there's that. So lots of great stuff going on. And nobody from University of Montana, of the guys, advanced to Eugene after Matt Ward finished 25th in the hammer, Evan Todd 25th in javelin, Matthew Hockett in javelin also finished 41st. So, and they're all just sophomores, which is a good thing for the UM track team. The women, as we mentioned, get started today. Tanessa Morris has won back-to-back Big Sky titles in the women's hammer. She went off this morning, no results yet. Steeplechase, Joel Mendez, and Brent Yeeke in discus. So lots of, like we said, cool stuff. They are headed now to the 10th inning. Manhattan taking on Big Timber, not Big Timber, Stillwater, sorry. Manhattan, Stillwater. 3-3, 10th inning. So there you go. All right, quick break. We'll come back, and we're going to discuss fire safety, boating safety, drinking and driving, and much more around the corner when we return, as Sheriff Leo Dutton will stop by the Above All Handyman Services Man Cave. Opening segment of the Jason Walker Show is always brought to you by our great friends over at Montana Custom Log Homes, the premier log home company in the industry. Veteran-owned, woman-owned, family-owned and operated. You've got milled log, handcrafted, timber frame. They have over 15 different floor plans on their website. You can go in and check out those or design your own, and they'll create the perfect log or timber frame home of your dreams, and most importantly, your budget. Check it out at yourcustomlog.com to get started today. Quick break. Sheriff Leo Dutton joins us on the Jason Walker Show in studio next. Hang on.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Everyone knows about Dinners Done Right and the convenience of the cook and carry cuisines. It's so easy to just stop by and you have something for dinner that night. But there's also one more thing you need to know about. Dinners Done Right Grab and Go Salad Bar. Yes, I said salad bar. Always the freshest ingredients along with a daily soup and nacho bar too. So the next time you are in a rush or you just want to eat healthy, stop by Dinners Done Right for the soup, salad, and nacho bar. For monthly menus and more info, it's dinnersdoneright.com. Father's Day is coming fast, and what more would that great dad in your life want than a full detail from Auto Concepts? Or maybe he would just prefer a lift kit. It's also camping season, and now is the perfect time to outfit that rig with a winch just in case. Auto Concepts is your home for everything for your vehicle, including updating your car stereo system too. Auto Concepts also has gift certificates for dad or yourself. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark Laro Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklarophotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklarophotography.com. Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
If you have not yet done so, make sure you purchase your tickets to join us in Billings at the Montana Football Hall of Fame 2022 induction banquet. This year, inducting Shan Schillinger, Blaine McElmurray, Dane Fletcher, Jim Sweeney, Rocky Gullickson, Marv Sunderland, Dane Storiston, and Robert Rides at the door. Get your tickets now at Universal Athletic Stores and universalathletic.com. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to do a red carpet event leading up to the show and leading up to the banquet. You can watch that on the Jason Walker Show web pages and all Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everything like that. And Alex Eshelman and I will be down there doing some interviews. I will also be doing interviews with the inductees on stage during their jacket ceremony, and looking forward to sharing that duty with the great Chris Byers from SWX down in Billings. So join us. Get your tickets now, and join us in Billings for that great event coming up June 25th. Still to come on This Day in History, we have a great new sponsor to talk about in the next segment as well, but it is time to, well, talk to the man. He is the man when it comes to running Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Department. His name is Leo Dutton, and he will join us in just a couple seconds. This segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn in Helena. Got a chance to sit down with the sheriff, Leo Dutton, earlier today in the Above All Handyman Services Man Cave. Here's our conversation on the Jason Walker Show. Well, it is always a pleasure to chat with you and get you in studio even now for the first time. But how are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm good, Jason, and I appreciate you coming or having me come here to see your man cave. It is impressive, all the sports memorabilia and everything that you'd hope for, tucked away, all the awards, everything. Yeah. Very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, we have fun here for sure. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You have to, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, life has its tragedies. Yes. I mean, absolute. But if you don't interject a little kind of sanity or what they call white noise of some kind, you begin to be overwhelmed, and that's when depression can hit you and all kinds of things. So in the midst of tragedy, you must have a little bit of levity just to keep yourself sane.
I was going to just bring this up later, but we'll just chat about it now with the school shooting the other day in Texas, which is just dreadful. Lieutenant Colonel of the Highway Patrol, Jason Hildenstab, had a great idea, and I heard about it at golf last night. And I wanted to run this by you. Colonel Steve Lavin even, wanted me to as well. What if we took all the satellite offices from MHP and law enforcement as a whole in the state and closed those offices and put those offices in schools, every school in Montana, for instance, and because it wouldn't cost the taxpayers anything,
right?
The school has a little room, a couple of computers right there, and then you have armed law enforcement in the schools,
right? So that is something that my office has been trying to do in a smaller sense on a school resource officer. We had some opposition to school resource officers being in the schools. One of the things that I am happy about that the Helena district and the districts around have done is an updated security plan, a single source of entry. That is going to be by far the best deterrent for someone who rushes in, tries to find an open door, and that's what happened in Texas. Just listening to a dissertation on the radio about how that individual got in the school, and it was a unlocked door from the teacher's parking lot, and that's where he got in and began firing. Well, it's all good if the doors are locked, and that's what you have to make it. A lot of our schools, most of our schools around Helena have done that, and I'm just very, very pleased. But also to go along with that, I'm also working with the College of Technology for exactly what you just said. What I hope to do is I like to hire people that have a keen sense of what's happening. And if that sounds odd, you can hire somebody who is just academically outstanding, but they don't have operational knowledge or operational intuition. So there's a good balance there. Yes, you want them well educated, but you also have to hire somebody who has operational knowledge. And sometimes that maybe you might have been hanging around, maybe not the best of crowds, but you understand how things operate. Well, if you get the job with me, then I do want you to get a secondary education such as college. Well, I'm working with Helena, the College of Technology, to do just that. And what you're talking about is to have those satellite offices. We're going to talk about trading some class time for maybe having an office down there, someplace close. It's been talked about again and again. The quicker you can engage the suspect, the faster you can engage, the less mortality that you're going to have. And a lot of school shootings are over in 2 minutes. So if you're looking at that saying, okay, we're going to rely on the peace officers responding from, depending on where you're at, it could be 5 minutes, it could be, 55 minutes, depending on where in the county you are. Well, we can do better.
Yeah.
We just by simply having a security system where you have to be buzzed in, you have to be let in, that's step one. Step two is making those changes where we do have satellite offices. Step three is all my bosses, the 70,000 bosses or however many we have, saying, yes, Leo, that's a good idea, and saying that we want to do that. Because that's where I'll need to put budget money and things like I'll need to put their money. So it's with support. Everything I do is with support of all the bosses. And I know there's 70,000 of them, and half of them like it, half of them don't. But so far, it's been a good support to take care of our youth. And I think if you take those three items, I believe it's a winning combination.
Well, and part of that too was, you get all law enforcement, you get Fish and Game to be a part of it, the MHP, the sheriff's departments, the city police departments, and you have one or two or three officers in every school. And I know the need for law enforcement officers across the board is high.
Yes.
But, I just think that's a win situation across the board.
Yeah, and I think the ultimate vote of this has to be the parents. Mm-hmm. The parents have to be engaged in their school. There are going to be a lot of political posturing over this. There was another shooting in Texas, and you got to ask yourself, 2018 is when it was, and I'm sorry this happened, and our condolences and everything. You can't bring back those lives. Right. But there have been people screaming, make a single point of entry, harden up the target. Even if you don't have law enforcement, or I like to say peace officers, because that's our job, according to the Constitution. Right. So even if you don't, have a single point of entry. Don't have that person just automatically come in. You can still conceal a firearm, you can conceal that kind of stuff, but like you're saying, if you have a presence there, even sometimes just even driving by, the presence of patrol will deter someone. And you've got to wonder what kind of mental health issues that happen. I'm not pawning this off on a mental health issue. It's just too soon to really know, but you read that the shooter, I'm not going to say his name, put it on his Facebook, what he was going to do. Then you go into another First Amendment issue about who should be scouring all of these social websites or social sites for this kind of activity. Should the inventors of Facebook and all of that have, maybe... I think there will be an outcry for some key words, but then again, where does your First Amendment right to say something versus having someone spy on you? Right. And in this case, everybody, I think, would go, well, yes, we would want to know. Yes, why didn't law enforcement know? It's because we don't have the time to look at everybody's Facebook. We don't. Right. And I don't know if we would get the public support to say, yes, we'll give you permission to be spying on everything we say. There's probably some of that fact checker going on now that you're thinking, okay, whose facts are you comparing? Right. So sometimes facts are relative to what you want the truth to be. But I think if you are forecasting that you're going to school and shoot up, I've not seen the text, I've not any of those things. So I'm going off of the same thing that you may have heard on the radio. So those are good ideas. I think we really need to be proactive about it. But I'm telling you, locking the schools down to where you have one point of entry and can control that, again, you can sneak a handgun in depending on what you have. If the person's unknown, there's still some training that needs to be done. All those agencies that you just talked about, the Office of Sheriff, all of the Helena Police Department, the Highway Patrol, train together for an active shooter. So that brings up another question about a single point of entry. If you're having an active shooter that manages to get in there, how do you get the good guys to stop the bad guy? Yeah. There's all kinds of things in history to look at of how terrorists have taken over schools. Beslan, all of those kind of things that they use to terrorize citizens of a country. So it's not just an individual focused, I want my name to be known for some dastardly reason. It's truly a terrorism type of activity because they want to strike fear, and everybody responds because it is horrible.
Yeah.
So we need to get busy. Other school districts need to follow that example of having a single point of entry, having an armed officer in school. Let's train, not just someone who can wand you down, because all that is the target that's going to die first.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you know, there was a shooting in Billings, and you know, the peace officer was pointed a gun at, and he fired back and killed the guy, and I have no problem with that.
Well, what do you
point a gun at
yeah.
the lofts, you're going, in my opinion, you're going down.
Well, it's personal for me because I wear the uniform and members of my family do. So when you point a gun, I have no other reason to believe you're going to kill me. So what gives them the right for me not to go home, it's just I didn't put on a uniform to be a sacrificial lamb.
Exactly.
We'll step in between you and the bad guy, absolutely. But we have tactics, and we're going to shoot back. You can't get away with that. I know people criticize the crisis intervention training or that crisis intervention team training, but that's a de-escalation. But that does not apply to someone who's pointing a gun at you. Right. And it doesn't have to be a gun. It can be pretty close quarters and point a knife. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. They can kill you quicker than you can draw. So when you point a weapon at a peace officer, don't expect, we'll just sit and negotiate. Not going to happen. We don't have the time, nor do we have the luxury of saying, you really don't want to do that, because you might not get those words out.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking with Lewis and Clark County Sheriff and Coroner Leo Dutton. Let's bring up something different, and that is the reason you're here, which is we're heading into a big weekend, Memorial Day weekend.
Yes, we are.
Unofficial kickoff to summer. The weather doesn't look like it, but it's Memorial Day weekend when it's when it's rainy and cold. But there are some safety tips, and we're heading into what I believe is going to be a bad fire season in the state of Montana. Hopefully not, but it's a tinderbox.
Yes.
But there's a lot of things that we can do as a public to stay safe this summer and stay safe this weekend. Take me through some of those.
Some of those things are common sense, but people, I don't know why we call that common, because it's not so common, but it ought to be. It ought to be intuitive. One, if you have a campfire, put it out. If you look around at some of the bigger fires Colorado has, Montana has, oftentimes they are for human caused. They are human related. Sometimes they're weather related, where a huge unpredicting superstorm, I'll call it, gust of up to 70 miles an hour will get the the power lines rubbing together and cause a fire. But nonetheless, what can we do as human beings to stop our part? And that is, if you got a campfire, don't drive off when it's smoldering. And sometimes you touch that fire and it feels cold, but it's still there. So drain it. When I say drain it, put a bunch of water on it. Yeah. Just make sure that it's dead cold. The second thing is, if you're out target practicing, and I encourage people who own firearms to be proficient with them, if you're shooting in an area that has rock, it can start a fire. It will ricochet. We've already had it this year. Start a fire. The people that it happened to were responsible as you can be. They had a good backstop, but that backstop had rocks and it ricocheted. It's dry. People think, it rained. It's fine. The street's wet. It's still dry. So it started a fire, and that was out east of Helena. What you can do is, if you're going to target shoot, look to see what your background is or what your backstop is made of. Secondly, carry a shovel. Have a little bit of water. Have a fire extinguisher. Sometimes people aren't cognizant of fire, so they'll be out there shooting or even smoking and throw out a cigarette. But I really have a disdain for people who take a cigarette butt and throw it out. Just to let your listeners know, and my bosses, that's a $250 fine. It's big because you can and will start a fire. There are intentional fires started along a highway. For whatever reason, the people that are pyromaniacs will throw out different things. We'll do our best to catch them. How you can be involved is if you see a fire, call it in. If one of the things is if it's a fire around Helena, on the 70th call, we're going, yep, we know, thank you, bye. Don't be offended if the dispatcher is short and saying, yep, we know, thank you, bye. It's nothing personal. You're probably 71 and of many more.
Right.
We'd rather get those calls than not. We'll try to get an information line out there. What we are going to be working with is the City of Helena about evacuation processes, all those kind of things. But back to fire prevention. One is thinking about where you park your vehicle. You're going to go out and explore the great outdoors. There's a thing called a catalytic converter. Thieves are liking to steal those, but your car pickup probably has one of those. You drive into an area that you want to go hiking in and you park in the long grass. It is still dry, and that catalytic converter will start on fire, meaning that the grass comes up around that hot catalytic converter and it will burn your vehicle and it will start a forest fire. Example, 1988 Elkhorn fire. That's what started that huge fire to the east of us in Elkhorns. It burned weeks, long time. And I mean, it's just starting to come back. That's how long it's been. So be careful where you park. Also, just another thing that irritates me is if you go through a gate, if you opened it up to go through, shut it.
Yeah.
Don't just plop it down and leave it. Someone's probably got cattle in there, and that's that irritant between public land, and people say, well, I have a right to go on here as public land. Yes, you do. But you don't have a right to just disregard any kind of respect for maybe a rancher is paying for grassland and is grazing cattle in there, and you leave the gate open, and all of a sudden, and now cows know, just like a mouse knows when there's a hole in the wall, they find it, and they find it pretty quick. So the rancher loses money or has a propensity to do that because the cattle get out, can't find them. So other things you can do is if you're camping and you want to build it's nice. You build a fire and just a kind of a conversation, the quietness of the area. But remember, if it's windy and you have a nice roaring fire, you're going to start something. Embers will start the fire. It's not that you took a piece of wood and threw it out there. Embers from that fire, if you're burning paper, if all of a sudden you're going to burn your trash, which people do, and it's biodegradable or just paper. They burn it. I do. But I also watch that a big burning piece of paper, cardboard, doesn't go off in the air and start a fire. If you're going to have a fire, have something to put it out with, a shovel, a bucket of water, or a fire extinguisher, and not a little one. Yeah. You need something to give it a serious effort. If you go out to do controlled burns, we have what they call escape fires from those. You needed to have made arrangements. You needed to call that permit in, have a permit, and if it escapes on you, roll out the checkbook, because we're going to charge for it. Yep. And I mean, it's a fire chief's decision, but oftentimes they'll say, yes, you should have known better. And it's just people taking the time to think about. Check the forecast. Check the weather forecast. If you're going out and you're going to have a good time, if you're going to a improved campground, BLM, Forest Service, state, they have fire pits and things like that. Enjoy that. Have fun. I mean, it's a great, kind of like that northern pike on your wall. I mean, there's opportunities in Montana. You just can't get anywhere else. But man, be responsible, because if you're not responsible, that's where laws come from, because somebody wasn't. Right. And if we want these great freedoms of this country, we have to be accountable. And the more accountability we have, maybe the less intrusive that the law needs to be. Right. And that's our hope is, we have freedoms. I just hired a guy. He's a citizen of the United States now, and he's a young man, but he came from Ukraine, and it was just interesting to talk to him about what we get to do. I mean, he was saying, you know, we were talking about an assembly or something like that where I was talking to people and people were questioning, you know, I said, any questions? And there were officers that were asking questions, and he just looked in shock. Like, what's the deal? He said, and where I came from, if you dare question authority, you were taken out and beaten. And I said, you know, everyone think that's a right here. And it is, but we take it for granted. Much like going out camping, all of those kind of things. Let's not make that something where you have to get a permit to do. It is a right. Let's not ruin it.
Sheriff Leo Dutton joining us here in the Above All Handyman Services Man Cave. The weekends are always fun for you guys, yes. I'm sure, but with this weekend especially, and heading into the season of summer, drinking and driving, yes. and boating, it's not a good combination.
It is not.
And I know you guys deal with it. We see a couple times a year somebody drowning in Canyon Ferry or Hauser or wherever, and it just doesn't need to happen.
No, it doesn't. And again, we're going to go back to that responsibility and accountability. When you get to drinking, number one, when you reach a certain level, then whatever sense you have that you have had enough goes away, and now you can't find enough.
Right.
So the idea that you're measuring yourself just only goes back a little bit. Now, I'm fine. Even though you seem to be using the walls to stand up, even though it may feel like somebody pulled a rug out from underneath you because you keep falling, all of those kind of things. Don't drive. Now, we are heading into a celebration weekend. What bothers me a little bit is we'll have a lot of celebration going on, and for the past 20 years, I go out to East Helen to the Memorial Parade. It's not a sense of a festivity parade, but it's a respect for those detention officers, or not, I've got detention on my mind, but those military officers that died, in the line of duty, that gave us the freedom to be able to speak English and not German or Japanese, all of those kind of things. Remember what you're celebrating. I know it's days off, but please think of it. It's important to us. So as we go into this weekend for Memorial Day, have a sober driver. And I know I've done commercials about have a sober driver get pulled over. I mean it.
Yep.
I'm a recovering paramedic, so I worked as an EMT paramedic for 24 years. And one of the worst calls I had on Memorial Day is doing triage on ages. There were 4 young ladies in a car hit by a guy, and they were ages that ranged from 15 to 16, and we just didn't have enough resources to save them all. I mean, they had traumatic injuries, substantial traumatic injuries. What still haunts me today is having to look at each one of those and go, you're it. I'll try to save you.
Yeah.
You have to do it. It's your job. And if I hear people say, well, it's your job, you knew what it was. It is my job, but there's people that could have helped make that job much easier. And the person who hit him was impaired substantially. So I'm forced to make a decision. I mean, I went through training and all of that, but it doesn't make it any easier, and you never forget it. I remember that each Memorial Day. I remember those calls of holidays. They're fun for some people, but some other people, it just brings memories of some intoxicated or impaired person hit their vehicle, hit their loved one. And that's the deal, is that the impaired people seem to be Gumbies. I mean, you can stretch them in any kind of direction. We picked them out. I keep saying I apologize. It was a we deal. We pulled them out from underneath they were just so limber that they went up underneath the dash. I mean, they're just still alive. The person they hit wasn't,
right,
because they're not quite so limber. I often hear, well, it shouldn't be a crime to drive impaired if there's no one else on the road. Well, if that was the case, you'd be the only one in Montana.
Yeah.
How do you know? It's like how you know you're going to catch a fish. They're either there or they're not. I mean, unless you're going fishing in a bathtub and there's nothing there, but that's like drinking at home. Hallelujah, do that.
Yeah.
And I'm not an abolitionist by any means, but just drink responsible. And I'm saying now that we have legalized marijuana, that causes impairment. People don't think it does, but it does. It's delayed reaction time. It's an impaired impaired sensory reaction, and it will cause you to cause an accident as well, or not realize the danger until it's too late. So there's a lot more than drinking. There is chemical agents such as prescription pills. So there's a lot out there, and believe me, we're going to be watching for it. We've got some extra patrols going, and it's not to be oppressive. We're trying to save your life.
Right.
And we will find the one that is just weaving back and forth. Wear your seatbelt. That's not a primary offense, but please. Again, I did EMS for 24 years. When I came from eastern Montana, and as being part rebel, I did not wear my seatbelt. I hate to confess, but I didn't. As a matter of fact, I stuffed it back down behind the seat because it kept poking me in the side. So I worked 6 months just as an EMT, and you learn how to, people who guillotine themselves, they're not wearing a seatbelt and their head goes through the windshield, but not their body doesn't, and the glass comes right around their neck. And I was on about 3 of those in 1984, and I went back and I thought, well, I'm digging out the seatbelt, because if they'd have just worn their seatbelt, it wouldn't have happened. A lot of small accidents would have stayed small. You don't want anybody to be in an accident, but some things you just can't see. Deer, elk, moose, those things are big. Just wear your seatbelt, please. I ask you, please. It has saved. I mean, I've unbuckled some people that should have been dead. They come crashing out, and the worst they got hurt is when I unbuckled them and they fell in a cactus patch. Yeah, they were intoxicated, but they survived. I mean, the vehicle looked like a crumpled up piece of a tin can.
Right.
But that's if you can stay in that protective cabin there, it'll work.
Boating safety is another big deal as we head into the summer. And like I said earlier, you hear the stories. You guys are pulling bodies out a couple times a year, it seems. But what can people do to increase their boat safety aside from the obvious of not drinking?
Well, you hit it right there, the impaired driving while you're boating. One of the things that has helped us is having a presence on the water. Mm-hmm. So we've been partnering with the Fish and Game, the wardens, to have, and their jet skis. And we went through training, and we do water patrol, and we're dressed in sheriff's office uniforms. People tend to slow down a little bit. We had a death last year on the lake, but it was a young man who dove off a cliff and didn't anticipate that there was a undercliff there, and he hit that. But people can make sure and raise your flag when you're pulling a skier. Be cognizant of those buoys where no wake zones. And if you see somebody fishing, give them a berth. Give them a wide berth. So you're not irritating someone who's trying to enjoy the water like you are. If you're getting into a boat race and things like that, look ahead. Don't be running people, coming running up on them. Let your better judgment show. Don't let your poor judgment land you in my bed and breakfast. That's a place you don't want to be, especially it's going to be a long weekend. I tell you, you get arrested on Friday, it's Tuesday till you get out.
Yep.
And we're trying to be ready for that, because there will people that will talk themselves. They'll fight their way into jail, but they earned it. So we don't want that.
Yeah.
We don't want that. We want people to actually enjoy themselves. Have a beer if you're of age.
Right. Well, that's another thing.
Let me qualify that.
Well, because you've got graduations coming up too. So
right.
and that goes all back to be responsible.
Yes.
We know kids are going to go out and have a bonfire in the wilderness and a kegger.
And they will.
It happens all the time.
It does. When I was first on patrol in the 80s, we had the juvenile enforcement team, the JET team, because the keggers got to be such a big deal, and they were wrecking on the way home. They were killing themselves. Right. So the sheriff then said, we got to do something. So we put together a special team to go out and interdict those parties. We haven't done that quite so much as of recently. Yes, I know they still go on. What are you going to do? I mean, that responsibility lies with the parent.
Yeah.
Not ours. I mean, we have to curb criminal behavior. We got a lot to do.
Yeah.
So parents, be responsible, know what's going on, and if you are providing alcohol for a party and they got drunk, you can be held civilly liable. And it's just not a fun thing. Don't make it our fault.
Right.
I mean, it's truly you're still your charge. I don't know why it gets into being our fault of like a bank robbery. We decide, hey, you go and rob the bank.
Yeah.
There are just some things you can't control. What I'm saying is it boils down to individual responsibility. Yes, I wish they wouldn't go out and drive impaired. I really do. Driving or drinking underage, how am I going to know? I mean, I don't want to be that oppressive. No, not a good idea. All kinds of reasons not to. I don't have enough people, nor are you going to give me enough people that I will be scoping around the woods for that. But remember, if you're shooting, making noise, littering, leaving the place, this is what gets these young people in trouble, is they litter and they shoot up signs and just absolutely juvenile behavior. That gets the landowners, people who paid money. If it's public land, it's our land, and if you start destroying it, that's when you get our attention, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
Because again, you got to have some respect and responsibility. There's sometimes you never know that they were there. That brings me to the North Hills, the BLM area. Last year, we had probably 7 fires that were started because of the wooden crate fires. And they were going there partying, bringing their beer. I went up and took pictures of the signs that were shot, the litter that was left, the glass that was broke. And 7 different times, those fires were left unattended and they started to burn. Well, the people that live up there are tired of it. They're absolutely frustrated and tired, and it's just complete irresponsibility on the person that's doing it. Well, what's going to happen is we're all going to pay, because eventually the BLM is going to get tired, even though they're public lands, but now it's a public safety risk to leave those open. So is it going to be a walk-in only? Not to shut it all off, but no more vehicle traffic? Well, people that have disabilities, now they can't enjoy that, all because of an irresponsible few and a very, very low percentage, but couldn't control themselves. But I'm telling you, that's not our fault. We were all kids. We all had our days of our misspent youth, and I don't want to preach like I was perfect. Everybody knows that wasn't true. But I learned, and I tried to make reparation for that. Eventually you got to quit, and you got to recognize, well, where I'm from, if you tore up something, somebody knew, and it probably somebody went and told that landowner and went and told your parents.
Yeah.
So my parents were good about making me go work it off, and so I quit that.
Yeah, you learn in a hurry.
Yeah, you put in some sweat equity into things, and all of a sudden, like, hey, don't do that. Because you're going to have to fix it, and it's going to cost you money.
Right.
When you have the expectation that, well, it should have been given to me. No, you earned it. If you own it, you earned it. All those kind of things. And if you don't respect it, that means you probably didn't buy it.
I got a couple final questions for Sheriff Leo Dutton, Lewis and Clark County Sheriff and Coroner. Go back to the jet skis and patrol. Do you guys have, is it sheriff wetsuits?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I want to see you in one of those, though.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Grace. I know. It's funny you should mention that. I kind of have referred that to the Michelin Tire Man advertisement. I am working on being a physique advertisement, but I just as soon not do it for the tire company. But yes, they are wetsuits, and we also have some dry suits for inclement weather. Sure. We practice when the waves get high. That's when we go out and practice, because that's when your boat is capsizing, and that's when you're screaming for help. If I'm there, don't laugh.
Okay. Well, I do have to bring up one.
You can save me.
I do have one point to bring up that I'm supposed to make fun of you. I saw one of my clients today, Scott, over at Bowser's, and he saw you playing the basketball game against the firefighters or whatnot years ago.
Yeah.
He said, Leo's not really a good basketball player. And you wore a headband.
Well, my misspent youth went all the way to my 40s. What can I say?
So I was...
Yeah, well, I noticed that he wasn't out there trying to dribble with 2 left feet. I mean, you got to give me some credit, you know. I got rhythm.
Yeah.
But, you know,
But explain the headband. Who are you emulating?
Headband. I was sweating. I was sweating with the oldies. I wasn't. You know.
You were Richard Simmons out there.
Yeah. Go.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, working really hard, you know, and the sweat gets in your eyes. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. I don't remember the head. Well, I do. I do kind of remember that headband because I was sweating and I was really working hard. I didn't say I had talent. I said I was trying.
Yeah.
I've never made any claims to being the best bowler or the best basketball. That song, I Got a Basketball, Jones?
Yeah.
Anyway, those kind of things, but I have fun.
Right.
I sure have fun. And apparently pride isn't something that holds me back.
No. That's okay, though.
Yeah. I mean, if it was, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yes.
Good Lord got me here, and as long as I stay in those ways, that I will. And, you know, sometimes they just got to see you that you're going to get out and work hard. We played a team from... Oh, where were they from? They were from Denver, and they were the kind of retired people from the Denver Broncos, but it was a basketball game. Those people are still in shape.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently they practice all year, and they play together. We didn't do that.
But you had fun.
But we had fun. I mean, we rolled around like a bowling ball and that kind of stuff. And I probably, if he was thinking that I had a sweat or a headband on because of trying to keep the hair out of my eyes, you know, I probably have 6 that were errant, and could have been like you getting an eyelash in your eye. Yeah. So I don't want that one, especially when you're concentrating. I know which one he's talking about now.
I think it was in Helena High game.
Yeah, it was. Yep. Worked real hard, Sweat. Man, if I could have had fake long hair, I'd have done that too. But you know, you just got to play the part.
I love it. Anything else as we head into the busy summer season? I mean, I think we've covered most of it.
I think we've covered a lot of it. I think one of the things that we've hit on is personal responsibility. Yeah. We have freedoms. We have so much freedoms in this country. I just don't want them ruined. And people are going headlong sometimes into doing that. And we're doing our best. We're doing our best to respond and not be oppressive, but keep people safe. And that's what we really want to do. That's what you're doing here. And even on the sports, all the sports memorabilia, it teaches team, and it teaches how to not concentrate on yourself. Even if you are wearing a headband, teaches you to pass the ball, teaches you how to operate, so you can all live together. It doesn't matter your background, your religion, your gender, any of that. That's what I do like about sports, is you learn teamwork. Yep. And that's been what makes our office work well, is teamwork. You can have, I'm going to use the Denver Broncos again because they're not my team, but they had some individual stars. Well, I'll use the team of the Dallas Cowboys. They had some superstars. They didn't have a team. You can have some of the most talented people in the world, but if you can't be a team, you can't win the championship, because one superstar, you look at Peyton Manning, he can't win a game by himself. He needs a team that works together, plays together, and respects each other. And that's what we need to do in this country. Is when you head off into the summer, remember, the person across from you might not look like you, might not listen to the same music, anything, but a little respect goes a long ways. And hopefully that they have the same value to you, because we all have value. So, Jason, I appreciate you having me here.
It's been my pleasure. It's always fun to chat with you and not, talk, negative stuff all the time. So, yeah, you keep it positive, keep it fun, and be safe.
I'll have to dig out that old hat band somewhere.
I wish someone had a photo. I would love to have that.
I'm blessed that they didn't have those kind of camera phones then. There are blessings in life, and that is one of them.
Absolutely.
Especially when we're going to high school. Could you imagine? None of us have got elected. Look at this mutton head and how he's dressed. But you know what? By the grace of God, there go I, and we're off and running.
Well, keep up the great work.
I appreciate it.
For the county. I know you do a great job, everybody in the Sheriff's Department, and, I support all law enforcement and military, obviously with the son in the Army now.
Yes,
so.
and I see that out in the yard, so God bless him.
And
keep him safe.
Yes, and my son's a deputy out in Broadway, Townsend. So.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Or not my son, my brother.
Okay.
He likes it out there. So
yeah, very good. My son is a deputy in Rosebud County, over in Forsyth, and Colstrip, and that area.
Yep, it's something I could never do. Actually, before I let you go, I got asked one time. I was TV news up in Great Falls, and part of our every Monday was going in and talking to the sergeant about the weekend and whatnot. And he goes, "How much do you make at the TV station?" I told him, and he said, "I can double your benefits and double your salary and give you full benefits if you come work for the police department." I said, "Here's the deal. I'm going to pull some guy over for a broken tail light. He's going to flip me, lip, and I'm just going to shoot him." He goes, "We may not want you."
Yeah, okay, all right. Here's your ball.
Yeah. Go talk sports.
Yeah. Go have a good time, son.
Yeah.
By the way, is that thing loaded?
Yeah, exactly. But we appreciate everything that all law enforcement does, and first responders, especially in Lewis and Clark County, because that's where we live and work and breathe and enjoy life.
Well, we like working for our bosses, and that's all of you.
That is Sheriff Leo Dutton joining us on the Mike Miller State Farm Hotline in studio, the Above All Handyman Services Man Cave. Always fun to chat with and catch up with him. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and introduce a new sponsor of the show and get you set for the weekend and maybe some updates on softball. It's all coming up. Jason Walker Show segment brought to you by Rucker's Furniture. Make the quality choice for your home at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Store-wide savings are what you'll find when you shop for new home furnishings at Rucker's Furniture. This means tremendous values on Helena's largest in-stock selection of home furnishings. When you shop Rucker's, you'll find store-wide savings on the furniture you want for every room in your home. And you'll also find our selection of Serta iComfort, the most comfortable beds in Helena. 12-month financing is available with approved credit on most purchases over $289. Ask for details. You'll find store-wide savings at Rucker's Furniture, 1010 Dearborn, Helena.
Yes, it's true that Montana is a long way from the Gulf Coast, but you can bring that Cajun flavor home with a stop at Cafe Zydeco. From po' boys to classic sandwiches, Cafe Zydeco has all the best Cajun in town. Are you in the mood for seafood gumbo or crawfish etouffee? Maybe you're craving jambalaya with some shrimp and grits. Head in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or call ahead for pickup or delivery. Cafe Zydeco will fix all your southern cravings, even on a chilly Montana day. Cafe Zydeco is a proud sponsor of The Jason Walker Show. Do you love to look at photos of Montana, from animals to landscapes and more? Are you looking for a place to get your senior pictures or family portraits done? Are you a business owner looking to upgrade the decor in your offices? Well, look no further than Mark Laro Photography. Mark has been shooting beautiful photos all across the Treasure State, from rodeos to portraits, and would love to work with you. Visit marklarophotography.com to see many masterpieces of his work, then give him a call to schedule your own photo shoot. Or to purchase one of his fantastic pieces, stop by Spirit of the Big Sky Gallery on Custer in Helena. marklarophotography.com.
Who doesn't love being number one? When your team's dominating the standings, or your favorite band rocks the charts at number one, it feels good, right? Kind of like how it feels when you have auto insurance with State Farm. Because making you feel like number one is an honor your local State Farm agent takes seriously. Through the good times and not so good, your State Farm agent's proud to be here to help life go right.
Call State Farm agent Mike Miller in Helena today. Father's Day is coming fast, and what more would that great dad in your life want than a full detail from Auto Concepts? Or maybe he would just prefer a lift kit. It's also camping season, and now is the perfect time to outfit that rig with a winch just in case. Auto Concepts is your home for everything for your vehicle, including updating your car stereo system too. Auto Concepts also has gift certificates for dad or yourself. Visit AutoConceptsHelena.com. Auto Concepts, the auto enhancement professionals.
Strength, beauty, grit, superior craftsmanship. Our homes have it all. At Montana Custom Log Homes, if you can dream it, we can build it. With 3 divisions and over 50 years experience, we've got you covered. From a showcase home to a small cabin, we make your vision a reality. Because every cowboy wants a castle for his queen. Montana Custom Log Homes, crafting homes that last for generations.
Welcome back to the Jason Walker Show.
Welcome back, Jason Walker Show. And the Above All Handyman Services Man Cave, proud to welcome a brand new sponsor. The segment brought to you by Bowser's Lucky Dog Casino and the Copper Club Casino. Now, if you're into gaming, there's no better place in town. Bowser's and the Copper Club have unbelievable players clubs, great machines, and just fun. And great staff as well. So if you like to kill some time throwing a couple of 20s in the machines, you need to get into Bowser's Lucky Dog Casino and also the Copper Club. So appreciate those great businesses hopping on board the Jason Walker Show. There is no question about that. Appreciate all of that. Let's do some updates from state softball. Let's see here. Shepherd beats Ennis, or is leading Ennis in softball 8-0 in the third. Conrad Shoto leads Mission 2-0 early. Stillwater came back got the win in the extra innings over Manhattan 4-3. So there's that final. Senior walks it off in the bottom of the seventh, 1-0 over Skyview. Columbia Falls at the State A. Blast hosts Lewistown 14-0 in 5 innings. So there is those in the books. You've got Capital taking on Belgrade right now, or about to, over in Missoula. Helena High lost 8-6 after Great Falls High scored 3 runs in the top of the 7th to get the win. Let's see, update from NAI Nationals. Carroll's Nikki Kruger, the shot put champ a year ago, is finishes 4th this year, 45 feet, 5.75 inches. She's an All-America. So congratulations to Krugs. She's fantastic and a great athlete. There's no question about that. So let's see. Is that about it as far as this Thursday? I think it is. Let's do On This Day in History. It is May the 26th. It is National Blueberry Cheesecake Day. It is National Paper Airplane Day. On this date in 1907, White Sox pitcher Ed Walsh with a no-hitter of the New York Highlanders. 1925, future Baseball Hall of Fame center fielder Ty Cobb is the first to get 1,000 extra base hits with a double. 1959, Harvey Haddix of Pittsburgh has a perfect game through 12 innings. Remember, this is back when pitchers were men. 12 perfect innings, only to lose it in the 13th. Should have pulled him after 12. 1993, remember this one? Carlos Martinez hits a ball off Jose Canseco's head for a home run. Happy birthdays today. The great John Wayne. Marion Robert Morrison was born on this date 115 years ago. The great actor, died in 1979. It is Brent Musburger's birthday, 1939. He was born in Portland. Of course, spent a lot of time, Big Timber, Billings area. 1940, and a member of the Montana Football Hall of Fame. 1949, Hank Williams Jr. was born in Shreveport, Louisiana. On this date in 1805, Lewis and Clark first sight the Rocky Mountains. And on this date in 1927, Henry Ford and the Ford Motor Company produced the very last and the 15th million Model T Ford. The segment brought to you by Bowser's, Lucky Dog Casino, and Copper Club Casino. New, great businesses on the Jason Walker Show. Check them out today, tonight, tomorrow, this weekend, while you're out celebrating. Let's do this.
We're almost at the end of the show. What did we learn? And what did he miss? Time for the walk-off.
Big thanks to Cafe Zydeco, who brings us the walk-off each and every day, and our final thoughts on the day each and every weekday that we do this show. And it's we appreciate Cafe Zydeco. We love all of our great sponsors on the Jason Walker Show. In fact, you could go to Cafe Zydeco and order your food and go to the Copper Club right next door and wait for your food. How about that? See, that's how we tie stuff together. It's fantastic. Big thanks to Sheriff Leo Dutton for stopping by the Above All Handyman Services Man Cave. Be safe, be smart this weekend, this summer. Don't do anything dumb. Just have fun. And my last point is remember, like Sheriff Dutton said, remember why we have Memorial Day weekend. It's not to get time off. It's not to go out partying and hooping it up. We have that honor because of the great, great men and women of our armed forces. Our military gave us this right, fought for this right, and died for this right for us to celebrate this weekend. So no matter what you're doing, crack one for the military. Have a water, but be safe and remember why we have this weekend. It's not just so you can have Monday off or maybe tomorrow and Monday. It's not. It's because of our military. That's why we have this weekend. And remember that. Had fun this week. Lots of great times. Ryan Schulte, Mike Miller, Seeley Chapman for joining us this week. Also, Sheriff Leo Dutton. Tuesday, back in studio and recapping the weekend, recapping all the state champs. Good luck to everybody competing this weekend. You've got tennis, you've got track and field, you've got softball. And speaking of, I'll be in Missoula on Saturday doing the third place and championship game, and the if necessary, on NFHS Network. So have some fun this weekend. Be safe, be smart, be responsible, and good luck to all of our student athletes as they wrap up, the seniors, their high school careers this weekend. We'll do it again next week. Talk to some state champs. We're going to have a good time next week here on the Jason Walker Show. Alex Eshelman will be back. We'll get you set for what's promising to shape up to be a great summer sports season with rodeo. We got your Montana Rodeo Roundup. We got rodeo kicking off next weekend in the state of Montana, a week from tomorrow. Have a great weekend. Thank you to our military for our ability to celebrate this weekend. Thank you. It's not enough, but thank you. We owe you, those that gave their lives serving our great country. Jason Walker Show, as always, on jasonwalkershow.com. And we'll see you over on Tuesday. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we'll see you on the back end. Have a good one.
The Jason Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen,